Hey, what's up, guys? It's Bunny. I'm back again for a whole new video. I'm re-recording this video because I recorded it and then I touched the camera and then it like disconnected the video and now I gotta start all over. So Flash is here. He's kind of chilling, hiding in the background. I know my hair kind of look like a hot mess right now, but it looked good when I first put it together in the morning when I went to work. But but yeah, like pretty much what I was talking about was like my journey to kind of get where I'm at right now, like to be more docile and more calm and just more chill and not let people bother me. Um, to get to this point, it wasn't because I had people in my ear telling me, like, hey, I need to do this. Because me personally, I'm like one of those people, like, it's not that I don't like taking advice from people. I just don't like people telling me like, "Oh, you just got to get up and do it," especially like when I'm like not in the right headspace because I feel like that's the worst thing you could do with somebody. I think you have to be more like on a motivative way of telling them like kind of like, "Hey, I know this is hard, but like, if you just kind of sulk around in your own misery, you're just gonna continue being miserable." And kind of just like help them get to that point. But to just expect them to just get up and do it, it just tells me as a person that like you don't understand their demons. Like, and I'm not even talking about just necessarily mine. I'm just talking about a person in general. Like, if you just tell someone to just get up and do something, and oh yeah, like, well, if you just do this, it's easy, whatever, whatever. That just tells me that either you don't get their demons, or like whatever demons that you claim that you're fighting through or going through or whatever, you're either processing it differently than they are, or it was like easier for you to process it because maybe you have like supportive people around you. And in my situation, like what I was going through or what I've been fighting through, I don't have that support system that a lot of people have the luxury of having when they're going through something really bad. I just don't like, they'll act supportive like in the beginning of everything, and then when push comes to shove, like, um, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's it's pretty much every man for themselves type of thing, and and it sucks. But like, I think the most important thing with my journey is that I realized it, and like now I don't expect anything, or I don't have unnecessary expectations for my feelings to get hurt, because that's essentially what happens. Like when you think someone's going to be supportive and be there for you, and and understand like you're in a bad place and you're like going through it, and they're really not. You when If they come back around or like they have anything to say to you, you have no expectations from that person, because once you realize like, yo, everything that they've said or done is just bullshit, it whatever they can possibly say to you at this point in your life, you already know like not to expect much. Like you expect the worst. So you're gonna walk into the situation with the mindset of like not expecting for something bad to happen, but you already know like, okay, I can't expect them to say anything good. I can't expect them to have a good view of me for whatever reason, and for me to expect that, that's just gonna hurt my feelings. And part of you know my journey is just like just finishing school, taking care of Flash, just doing stuff I normally do, and just chilling and just like doing whatever, you know what I mean? Like, and some people, when you tell them like, you gotta like do you and move around or whatever, some people think that means that you have to have like a new person in your life and you gotta be doing this. And anybody that like genuinely knows me as a person knows that like that's not how I move anyway. Like, when I go through something traumatic, especially like something relationship related, um, my first thought process is not to be like, hey, let me sleep with the next new person. Like, that's especially like if I was like really going through it and really like hurt by it or whatever, that's not my thought process. Like, my thought process is like, I know I'm in a vulnerable state. I know that if I sleep with someone new, this is what goes on in my head. I'm like, I know if I sleep with someone new and I'm vulnerable right now, I might gravitate the feelings that I have for the old person into the new person, and all they might have wanted to do was just have sex and have a good time. And that's not going to be healthy for me in the long run. And then that's not healthy to move like that anyway, because when you go from one relationship, even if you were not like hurt by the relationship, if you go from one relationship to the next one or like into something new, whatever baggage or whatever you had going on in that last relationship that made you decide like that relationship is done or whatever, or if it was like mutual or whatever the case is, you're just gonna drag that into the new relationship, and then you're never gonna actually have a successful relationship. Not so much saying that you're gonna be like wanting to get back with that old person, but like you're not gonna be able to grow with someone new because you've never actually processed what you went through with the last relationship and really gave yourself time to really figure out like, what do I want, what do I need, and how am I going to be a better person no matter who I decide to be with, if I choose to be with anybody. Because me personally, like, I'm perfectly okay with like not being around people or not talking to people. Don't get me wrong, like, my presence in public is like different than like what people believe that I am. Like, I'm actually very like, I'm perfectly fine being by myself. Like, I can like go days without talking to somebody and not be phased. Me being around people and talking to people is just like not a thing for me. Like, I do it because that's what people expect of me. So I'm doing something that I know will make that other person feel better. Not because I need the conversation. Now, the only time I ever feel like I need conversation is like when I'm going through something, because I like to hear like what I need to do or what I've done wrong with like processing a situation. Like, maybe I'm not handling it the best way, and maybe the person has like alternative methods. But I only exercise that for so long, because let's be honest, when someone's going through something, whether it's like family issues, relationship issues, whatever it is, you're only going to want to hear about it for so long, especially if it's like the same type of problem, before you get tired of hearing it. And I'm gonna be honest, because I had that happen to me, where I had like friends tell me stuff, and I'm like, and it's all a repeated same thing over and over again, and you're just like, all right, like, when is this like telenovela gonna end? You know what I'm saying? Like I want to talk about something else. Like, I want to talk about why the sky isn't blue. Like something like that. Like, you kind of get to that point, because that's why I only talk about something traumatic that I go through in my life for so long, and then I just change the topic because I don't want to like dwell on it, because I know if I dwell on it, I know how I am. I'm an analytical thinker. So like, I'm one of those people. I'll think about what I did, how I could have fixed it, what I could have said differently. Like, and I'm very judgy on myself. And so I know I would do that. So as opposed to me doing that to myself, I just don't talk. I talk about it for like however long I need to like get it out of my system to talk about it, like a couple days or so. And then I kind of just like try to focus on other things, whether that's working more, making more money, whatever the case is, focusing on school, taking care of my dog, whatever. I just do other things that like kind of get my mind off of it. Not saying that you're going to totally forget it, especially if it's something fresh and new that really hurts your feelings or whatever the case is, but it won't be like your main focus of the day, is what I'm getting at. And like when you're trying to like heal from something and grow from something and learn from something, it can't be like your main focus of your day because it's going to stop you from moving forward and doing what you need to do for you. um for me, I think the reason why my process to kind of get to like going back to being more docile and not so angry and aggressive like I was starting to become was because I'm not around supportive people. Like they act supportive when they see me going through something at first, and then as soon as like push comes to shove, they go they revert right back to their old behavior, and that's just not healthy for me. So me fighting my demons and kind of getting to where I'm at right now has been, it was very hard. Like therapy helped a lot and all that, and like, but it also was very hard because when you're in a negative environment and then you're trying to do like, you're trying to be positive just for yourself, like just so you could be a better person, even if other people around you don't see you as a better person or they think you're a piece of shit, like just the fact that you're trying to do better for you and you're around like negativity, it makes it 20 times harder because you're around it. So like you're drenched in a negative environment on top of trying to be positive. So you're trying to see the light at the end of the tunnel, but then you're living somewhere where it's like a dark ass cave. You know what I'm saying? Like it's kind of like having a glass that you're trying to see is half full, but they're trying to make you believe that it's half empty. You know, it's like a catch 22. So I think that's part of the reason why it was so much harder, but it also, because it was so much harder and because I went through what I went through and how I went through it and how it happened, it kind of made me see things differently. Like, not saying that it made me realize that, like, I had to, like, blame other people for why I was the way I was, but it made me realize that part of the reason why I was the way I was not just because of traumatic things that had happened to me, but because as a child, there were certain things that happened that were traumatic that altered how I viewed things and how I reacted to certain things that essentially made me kind of be who I am at a certain point in my life. And and the when I realized that I had to like revert back to that little girl that got traumatized and like kind of like have like an inner talk with her and say to her like, you know, it's gonna be okay. That's when I realized like that's where it all started. It all started from when I was like a little girl. It wasn't just from the stuff I experienced when I got older. It started from that age on, and it kind of molded certain things of how I dealt with certain things as an adult. And it kind of altered my vision on a lot of things, and it made me see things kind of in a warped way without even realizing it. So when I came to that realization, I really had like an actual epiphany. Like, I mean, I know a lot of people kind of like laugh at the thought of someone telling you like, "Hey, I had an epiphany," but like I had an actual like epiphany. Like I really was like, "Whoa!" Like this is why, and this is what I need to do, and you know, and this is how I need to move forward to be a better person. And like essentially, like I just kind of just started doing things to kind of like make me like think about what I really wanted, other than like finishing school and getting the dream job I always wanted and making a certain amount of money and all that type of stuff. Like, really think about things that I wanted and how I'm going to achieve those things. And really putting them in perspective. Like, one of the things I always wanted to do, but just never had the money, never had the time, you know, it just wasn't in the cards for me for whatever reason, was I always wanted to just travel the world, like, and just go all over and just see different places and just be, you know, and just see things that like I don't normally get to see no matter where I'm living at. I always wanted to do that. You know, there's a part of me that wanted to have kids, and I think that's why I grew with such a deep attachment to my dog Flash, because he was the closest thing I had to a child. Because for whatever reason, I didn't have that, or it didn't play in the cards for me, and or it hasn't played in the cards for me, and like, and and it sucks. Maybe it'll happen. I don't know. I think that's why. Um, there you go, barky bark over here. Um, maybe it's in the cards for me, but I don't know. But I think that's why I grew such a deep attachment to Flash. And once I came to that realization, and I realized, like, you know, I can't be mad at Flash, when I'm going through something, because it's not his fault. Because he's gotten so used to, hey, all right, we get it, Barky Bark. He it's not his fault that he has grown attached to me the way he's grown attached to me. Who the hell? Hello? Hello? Okay. Okay, that was my brother calling me. Oh, he calling me back. Hello? Yeah, can I call you back in a little bit? Alright. Yeah, that is just interruptions. Um, but yeah, and I think that's why I grew so attached to him, because he was the closest thing I had to a child. And and that's my fault. I can't blame anybody else but myself, um for getting so attached to him the way that I did. um I guess it was like my nurturing aspect of myself, of like always wanting a child and having that connection, because there was always a part of me that wanted to be able to be a better mother than what I experienced, or whatever my brothers have experienced. That was always a goal of mine. I always wanted to be better than what I had, to be what I knew I wanted but didn't get, or what I needed and didn't get. Um, so, with that being said, you know, that's why I think I was so protective of Flash and so like clingy to him, because, like I said, he's the closest thing I have to a child. Um, so he's all I got. He's literally the only one in this house that got my back, or in my corner. So I gotta make the best of it. I mean, granted, I also had to realize that me going through my journey, he wasn't gonna help me through my journey, because he could only do so much. He was only like a minor fix. And when I realized that, it was like the hardest thing ever, because, I had been so attached to him that I was like, you know, damn, he's not going to be able to help me through this journey. Like, he's going to be here. Yeah, he's going to listen. Yeah, he's going to, you know what I'm saying? He's gonna be here watching me go through my moments or whatever, but he's not gonna be able to heal me through my journey. Like, he's only gonna be able to do so much. So when I came to that realization that I had to essentially do it by myself, and I couldn't even do it because of him or with him, it was a hard pill to swallow. It was just as hard of a pill to swallow when I realized I really didn't have anybody in my corner in my own house. Like, it was a very, very hard pill to swallow. Um, but I can't put, but I also had to realize that I can't put all that burden onto him because he is just a dog. Like, I can't expect him to, I had to say to myself, I can't expect him to help me heal because he's just a dog at the end of the day. You know, like, yeah, he may love me. I may be one of his favorite people, but I can't put all that on him because he's not going to help me heal. He's not going to know how to help me heal. He's not going to, it's not like he's going to be able to sit down and be like, hey, you need to do this. And you know what I'm saying? Like, he might watch me. He might be trying to figure out when I'm going through something, what's wrong with me or whatever, but he's not going to be able to help me go in the right direction. You know what I'm saying? Um, but he might feel my stress or anxiety or whatever. But not just that, you know. And then I just realized, like, I just woke up one day and I realized, like, there was a lot of stuff that, like, I started slacking in for myself. So I was just like, I just gotta just do it. And you know, and I when I realized that, that's when I was like, yo, this is like not that bad, like, because things are slowly like kind of playing out for me like in the right direction. So like it's not as bad. Like I'm okay. Like I'm genuinely okay. I'm not a like where I want to be in life, but I'm okay with that. And I know I have plans to do what I need to do, and I know I'm gonna get them done in a timely fashion because you know at the end of the day I'm a Virgo, so I'm a perfectionist, so I'm gonna be hard on myself anyway. But I know I'm gonna get them done, and I'm not gonna talk about them and not do them. I'm gonna speak them into existence. So with that being said, I know when I get to that point of achieving those things, I'm gonna be very proud of myself. And that's another pill that I had to learn to swallow years ago, that the people in my house, they're never going to be proud of anything that I do, and I can't expect them to be proud of me. I have to be proud for myself. And um once I realized that, things got a lot easier. Like I just have to be proud of myself. I don't expect anybody to be proud for me. I don't expect anybody to be happy for me. I don't even expect people to wish the best for me. Um, I actually expect people to wish that I fail, especially, you know, the part of one of the things that I'm gonna end this video with me saying is part of the reason why I got to the point where I was like, yo, I gotta achieve what I need to achieve, because one of the biggest slaps in the face was being told that I was similar to my mother. Um, but I'm not similar to her in the aspect of, yes, I started picking up traits of her because that's what happens when you're around a negative person and you're around it for so long. Yes, you start to pick up those negative traits. But then I also realized that I'm not her because I achieved a lot of things. You know, one, I don't have no baby daddies. I don't got no kids out here. You know what I'm saying? I, you know, I don't got no STDs. I don't got none of that. You know, I got all seven of my cars by myself with my own money. Um, you know what I'm saying? I went to school, graduated, went to college. I'm about to graduate college. You know, I achieved a lot of things that she never achieved because she chose to have her life be the way that it was. She chose to have kids young, and then she also had kids young, but she never acted like she wanted kids. Like she was one of those rare mothers that had all these kids, but she never really wanted kids. Or she didn't act like she wanted kids. She always acted like we were a burden or like we ruined her life or whatever without saying it. And she'll act like she's happy for you when you're doing something, but then when she sees that you're doing something better than she's accomplished, she'll say something as a jab to kind of like make you feel bad about what you chose to do, to make you question, like, hey, do I really want to do this? So once I realized all of that, I said, you know what? I've achieved so much more. And I'm, at the end of the day, like, I'm still a prize, because I have so much that I won up on her with, that I achieved on my own, and I didn't need anybody to put a gun in my head and tell me to do these things. I chose to do them on my own. So with that being said, part of my journey was not just to like prove her wrong of like what I can be, but just prove the other people wrong that just like thought I was trying to be her or trying to become her. And and the crazy part about it is like, it's so funny when people are quick to point the finger and say like, you're like this person, but then if they look back on their lives are no better than what they're trying to say that your life is. Meaning, like, they've probably have way more baggage or have done way more dirt than you have and fail to admit it, and they want to be holier than thou because they think they're better than you, but they're no better than the person standing next to them. And when I realized that, I was like, yo, I really gotta prove what I'm capable of, because you know what I'm saying? I got doubters out here that don't want to say they doubting me. And I just love proving people wrong. I just love it. And when I woke up one day and I said, you know what? Yo, I love proving people wrong so I could have the last laugh. So I could be like, I told you, bitch. you know what I'm saying? Like, I just love that feeling because that's way more pleasing than trying to get revenge or trying to talk shit about somebody. When I realized that, I was just like, you know what am I doing? Like, let me just prove motherfuckers wrong and just be what I know I'm capable of being, and fuck all that unnecessary drama, fuck all that noise, fuck all of that, fuck that. Let me just focus on what I need to do for me and get myself going to where I need to be. Because once I do that, the people that are hating on you from being great, they're going to be more miserable because they thought that you were one way, but then you proved them wrong. So I'm doing that for me, and just because I just like to have the last laugh. You know what I'm saying? Flash, you got any words? Nah, he don't got no words. He's just like, I don't think you can see him. But yeah, yeah, it's been a rough road, but I'm getting there day by day. And I'm not 100% where I want to be in life, but I know I will be. And now that I don't have things in front of my face blurring my vision and blurring my end result, because I like to build empires and be the greatest I could be, and anybody that's in my corner will be treated like royalty. So like, you want to build an empire with me, you'll build an empire with me. You don't want to build an empire with me, you're just gonna watch me as I build my empire and get to where I need to be. But with that being said, I'm Bunny Flash is over here laying down, waiting for his dinner. But don't forget to comment, like, share, and subscribe. Reach out to me on my social media. You can reach out to Flash's social media, because I manage both anyway. So, and I'll see it. And let me know what you think. Let me know if you want me to do more videos like this, talking about my journey and how well I'm doing and where I'm at as far as like my journey. And don't, like I said, don't forget to comment down below. Reach out to me on my social media. Reach out to Flash's social media. And I'm Bunny, and this is Flash over here chilling. And I'll see you next time. Bye.